Good evening, Netroots. It is so awesome to be and share in this space together with you on this awesome evening. Thank you for having me and welcoming me. I want us to just take an opportunity to just breathe for a moment and to just realize the moment that we're living in and the privilege it is to share this space with each other. I try to say as often as possible that we have to come to the realization that this group has been handpicked to be here at this moment right now. And if you think about it, never again will this same group of people ever have the privilege and the honor to sit together again in history. To me, that is profound, and it is a moment just to soak in. So I want us to appreciate that at this time. There's another moment in my life that rings clear to me and really sticks out in my mind. Before I say that and share that with you, I want to tell you that it has become my habit to make sure that when I give a speech that I dedicate it to someone special in my life. Tonight I dedicate this short talk with you to my granny, Idella, who is home with the Lord as of March 2020. Home with her Savior that she always wanted to be with. But it was in March of 2020 when my family was at her bedside and she was on hospice and soon to be called to her heavenly rest. And my sister, who is 20 years younger than me and was on one side of the bed and I was on the other. And my granny, who could not open her eyelids anymore and could barely move except to raise her arms, and so proud and so glad to know that her grandchildren were there with her. And she said, well, what brought y'all here? Well, we're here to see you, Granny, and so nice of you to come. And as she began to talk even more, she said, I am so happy that my grandchildren have never been to jail, never been in prison. My sister, who was always tried to one-up me, and she said, well, you're right, Granny, at least I haven't. And at that moment, what do you say when your grandmother is dying on her deathbed and you've never told her you've been to jail? And so I stayed quiet in that moment. And we left the room that day and went home, and I thought about it tirelessly, and I thought, if I get one more chance, I've got to tell my granny that I've been to jail before she goes home to be with the Lord. So the next day I found myself in the room with her all alone. My sister Amelia was no longer there, and I sat next to my granny on that bed, and I said, Granny, I've got to tell you something. I said, I have been to jail. I was on a march, you see, from New Orleans to Baton Rouge, and we had gone to the Louisiana Association of Business and Industry. We were fighting for the people in Cancer Alley so that people would stop poisoning them, and we did a rally up on the 12th floor of the Louisiana Association of Business and Industry after we were locked out by their lawyers. And I stood and I said, Miss Kristen from Mossville will tell her story. And the Baton Rouge police said, no, she won't. I said, yes, they will. They took me down to the ground and they arrested me with 4 cops on my back and threw me in jail. Strip searched me, mind you, and threw me in jail. I said, Granny, that's why I went to jail. And she looked at me half with her eyes closed and she said, grandson, I knew that if you went to jail it was for a good reason. And so I dedicate this speech to my granny, who in 1968, June 19th, went to the Poor People's March in Washington, fist raised with my dad, who said even though Dr. King had died on April 4th, 1968, she said, I will carry on and speak and stand in Washington, D.C. My granny, who in 1965, when LDJ said we're going to have the March Against Poverty, and he put in place the Head Start movement and campaign, my granny began to teach at Head Start and taught Head Start for 33 years until she retired. And so I stand here tonight to tell you that we may not get another chance. And so if we have the opportunity to speak as we sit here today, to go back to our communities and speak louder and more bolder than we ever have before, we take the opportunity now. But if we get a second chance, take advantage of that chance. When I went to jail in Baton Rouge on that march, I remember my son told me later, he said, "Dad, that video of you getting tackled by the police and those police on your back," he didn't say anything about me, how it felt to have 4 big police officers on my back. He said, "Dad," he said, "there was a pastor behind you, a pastor with a collar on, and he was standing there, an older guy." He said, "He looked like he was about to cry when you were getting arrested. And if he could have done anything to help you, he looked like he would have done it, Dad." He said, "My heart broke for him." I said, "Son, wasn't your heart breaking for me? I was the one on the ground." He said, "No, Dad, I felt so sorry for him." His name was Reverend William Barnwell, and I do believe that if he had the strength, he would have done anything possible to get those officers off my back. But at that moment, I said, well, there should be more pastors standing with us, more pastors in this group. If we really believe what our faith states, if we really believe what our doctrine states, then we will stand up on the front line for people that are being sacrificed each and every day. We will stand up for them. So at that moment I said, well, here's a plan, because I've been given another chance. I will establish the Greater New Orleans Interfaith Climate Coalition. And what we will do and say is that, yes, we as clergy from all different faiths, be it Jewish or Muslim or Christian or Buddhist or Baha'i, we will agree that we will never and may never agree on who God is or how we get to know God, or on doctrinal issues or theological issues. But what we can agree on is that climate change is an existential crisis that we must fight together right now. We will not allow faith to be a barrier any longer. So every clergy of every stripe, no matter how and what you believe, stand up with me and let's fight the industry and stop them from killing our communities of color and all people. I say to all clergy that we have a moral obligation at this moment in time to realize that we are on this earth for a prescribed moment, for a very short moment, that we are to practice creation care, to be stewards of this earth, to celebrate it, and say, I thank you, God, for allowing me to be on this precious earth at this moment in time. And if you have given me the privilege to take care of it, then I will do so with pleasure and with joy. That's what we're called to do. So later, having one more chance, when Hurricane Ida came and left our city vulnerable because most of the people in New Orleans had no power for 3 weeks. Power was out and we didn't know what to do. We said, my church began to get all kinds of items being delivered to us. People called on the phone, Pastor, we got a semi-load of this, we got a semi-load of that. Will you take it? And one of my friends said, well, whoever calls, you just say yes. I said, well, I don't have anywhere to put it. Pastor, the answer is yes, you'll take it no matter what. And that's what I did. We began to take it, but soon we began to realize that God had given us an opportunity and a chance to do greater work. We realized that in our river parishes, people were being given an opportunity to be able to work in the factories and the manufacturing industries, the petrochemical industries that were destroying their lives. We realized that we had to take people out of those tanks and cleaning them and give them jobs that allowed them to invest in their communities, jobs that allowed them to seek new lives that weren't poisoning and killing them. And so we started the Louisiana Just Recovery Network. We took people and we said, we're going to train you on how to tarp roofs because people have lost their roofs in Ida. We're going to train you how to gut and muck homes. We're going to train you how to put on fortified roofs. We're going to collaborate together and we're going to realize together what a just recovery looks like. because we realize in our communities that people in the river parishes are being overlooked. And we can either wait on the government to do it, or we can take our chance and our opportunity to do it ourselves. And we did it ourselves. That is what we are called to do. Why? Because the industry would love if climate change and great storms destroyed everybody in the river parishes. Would love it if black communities and communities of indigenous peoples were destroyed so that no one ever remembered them again. But we declare and we say, you will not annihilate us. Well, you will not wipe us out. We're not sacrificial zones. We will stand right here and you will not move us. This is our chance. This is our moment. This is our opportunity. We zoom in now to New Orleans. That was in the river parishes, but in New Orleans we had problems. We had lights going out, power was out at Broadmoor Community Church, and we had to distribute food. We needed to continue to distribute the same 4,000 pounds of food that we had distributed for 12 years, and even more so now in Hurricane Ida. So we said, what do we do? I was evacuated to Houston. I was in College Station, Texas, on the university campus. I remember they had a big old football game, about 100,000 people. There were 4 black people in the room, in the auditorium, in the arena. I said, my God, where am I? I am in Texas now. That's just a side note. But at that moment, we said to ourselves, I was hunkered down in the Borders bookstore, didn't even know they existed. And when I was there, I had calls from people in New Orleans telling me, Pastor, I'm hot. I don't have anywhere to go. The city's telling me to get on an RTA bus to keep cool. This is nonsense. This doesn't work. And we realized that we needed to do something. I needed to do something. And the choice was clear. Either we could wait and wait and wait for the utility that had failed us, for the utilities whose reliability service was lacking, to get the power back on, and we could figure out a way to do it ourselves so that we didn't have to wait on the utility to get up and running ever again. So we decided at that moment, what would we do? We would get solar panels installed on churches and organizations, that we would get batteries put on them so that we would never have to be dependent on Entergy New Orleans again. We took advantage of the opportunity and the moment to say, this is our chance. This is why we were placed here. This is our moment, and we will seize on this day. We will do all that we can to respond to this moment, to reimagine what we can do for each other, to reimagine the power of the people. I stand here tonight as a giant, a little giant, 5'8½", that said to myself, it is time for me to step into the arena of public service. I am not a politician, I'm a pastorician. New word for you. I'm stepping in to say, industry, you will not pull the strings behind politicians and council members any longer. You will not do that. It is time for the people to take back the power. So as I close on this evening, let me just say this, that as we reimagine a new world, a new space, and I know we can. I'm so hopeful, and I'm so grateful, that I'm so eager and excited to work alongside each and every one of you. We will not walk in fear. We will walk in joy and say, God, you probably only given me about 70 to 80 years if you're so willing, but I'm so grateful that you have called me to this moment, and I get to work for the work of the people and the sake of the people in this day and at this time. I'm going to reimagine and set a vision. Vision is so important to me. I am legally blind. I have a disease called Leber's optic neuropathy. Glasses or contacts won't help me, or surgery. I'm 96% blind. I learned a word not too long ago. The word is Salbona. Can you say Salbona? It's Zulu. It means I see you. While I may not be able to see you with my eyes, Zulu in Salbona means I see your hurts, your pains, your sorrows, your challenges. I see all that you are enduring, and I'm here for you. For the response is, Yebo Salbona, I'm here for you to help you along your journey, on your way. So I say to you, the way that we embrace this moment is by looking at each other with eyes that say, Salbona, I see you. And all over the world, whether it be in the United States or in Africa or Europe or Australia or wherever, I see you no matter what your religion is, no matter who you love, how you love, no matter how rich or poor you are. I see you, and I'm here at this moment to respond and do what I can to help you on your journey. This moment is ours. God has placed us here for this moment, and we stand resilient and excited to respond and to say, now I am ready to walk into a new future where everything will begin to look different and we can work for the greater good of all people. God bless you, Netroots, as you go back and say, Salbona.